Yes, good afternoon. It is a good day today. It's Friday. It's Friday. And I want to welcome you once again to this edition of the Wake Up Guyana show right here on Kaieteur Radio. We're coming to you live from Saffron Street, Charlestown. And you tuned in to 99.1 FM. If you're catching us in Demerara or Esquivel, or if you're in Burmese, it is 99.5 FM. And we also coming to you live stream on Facebook, Kaieteur Radio on Facebook, or Kaieteur Radio live stream on YouTube. So let's get down right into it today. It's not such a very happy day for myself. Did receive news not too long ago that a very close family friend, if you want to say a distant relative of ours, would have passed away not too long ago. And this was, of course, nothing strange into that. People do that all the time. People would live, they would die. It's a fact of life, and we have to live with that. When it is COVID-19, it's not such a good feeling. Could we have avoided it? Could we have taken more precautions? And this is indeed the news is that from he was tested positive, elderly patient, but it goes to show it has driven home the harsh reality that our elderly, our citizens, are the ones who are going to be mostly affected by COVID-19, and so that is why we, as a people, as responsible citizens of this country, have to take the necessary precautions. COVID 19 is going to be around with us for a little while. We have, I estimated yesterday, another year at least before we really say that we have it under control, based on what we've seen right now, vaccination and so on, before we come back to where we might say life is normal. So, wherever you are joining us today from all three counties, it is a beautiful day out there. Lots of traffic and lots of congestion around the Penitence area as I was coming in at to make some maneuvers around the corner there. But wherever you join us from Florida, from the all the rest of the United States of America, Canada, and if you were looking at the Trump Biden debate last evening, you would have seen a little muted Trump there, but nevertheless, it was a killer debate in terms of both men bringing it on game, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself there, looking at how a developed country, how they're dealing things well. If you call that a normal situation, because when you have Trump, anything can and will happen, and it was, lots of accusation against Biden. So we're going to talk a little about that at the end of the day, but there's some major news that we want to tell you today. Shareholders collaborating with the decision to reopen school. The Skeldon Kaieteur. Well, GT&T, competition is good. GT&T has announced that it's gone to the Kaieteur and Skeldon area to bring Blaze. But they bypass us in Grove. They only get part of Grove, whereas where the upper class is living, the $1 million quarter, if you want to call it that. They've stopped there, and they have not gone to the lower income homes area. That's at the back, the Block X area. And they've been promising to come for a number of years, but competition is good. The sector is liberalized, and they've gone to quarantine. People have been complaining there. Love to hear them when they are going to be saying that we're in Esquivel area, on the Esquivel coast, and in Linden and so on. Can't forget Linden. Somebody so rightly reminded us there that Linden does exist, and so we are going to say Linden, of course, and the rest of Guyana by extension. You got to find some way of bridging that digital divide gap. So 6,000 minimum wage being mauled within the private sector, and this is something that the Ministry of Labour is looking at. Made some statements as to that. We are going to be talking a little about that. And today happens to be 50 years in aviation for the GCAA. This is again Civil Aviation Chief Lieutenant Colonel Egbert Fields. Wherever you are, sir, I want to say good day to you. And of course, GCOM ID cards. We're going to tell you a little bit that you have been asking about what happens. You've applied for an ID card, you don't have it. Well, there's good news now. I'm going to tell you a little bit that. and the opposition, the AFC, APNU coalition, would have been come out today asking for a house. So, GCOM, get yourself ready for a house-to-house registration to be going on. They want to fix the list now. So here it is that we are headed to the Guyana's largest selling newspapers. Normal, we're going to read you some of the big headlines that are coming out. And as usual, October 23rd, 2020, it is Friday, going on to a weekend here. Not much to celebrate, but we're hearing something about Movie Tongue. We're going to have a discussion on that in a very short while too, about the outdoor theater that they had planned to hold, and the authority step in and says no, social distancing. Of course, it has created a storm there. Chief Justice to hear full trial for elections petition to hear preliminary issues on November the 24th. And somebody did ask me what happened to the previous elections petition, the one from 2015 that was filed, was filed by the People's Progressive Party Civic, and it has never, or it has not started. How does this one get ahead? I presume these are some of the things that the big guns, the lawyers for the People's Progressive Party, are going to be asking. And of course, one of the big issues, what happened to those statement of polls that would have been there in the possession of the GCOM as well as the now opposition, the APNU AFC. Could you produce it and let us see, based on what you have there, what is it that the election results were saying according to you? So the fleecing of Guyana series, Kanji owner sold 87.5% of the block. Guyana got no capital gains tax from its contract signed by Ramatar. Again, the story is continuing, and so I think the story is making it very clear. Whenever you sell anything like a house, and if you bought it for 5 million, you sell it for 10 million, there's some taxes, capital gains tax that kicks in there, and so here it is in this particular case. Right away, somebody got a block and to sell it, and it is that the state is supposed to be receiving some kind of money out of it, as some taxes. This is obligatory, and when we're talking about this, when you're talking millions of dollars, the state would be interested in taking their part. Why is it that this company did not have to pay that? Well, we don't know, and that is a question that is being asked now. Health Ministry orders 20,000 antigen tests for hinterland. These are the rapid tests that could be able to give you a quick idea as to whether somebody's tested positive for COVID-19, and within minutes it could give you that. And the government has gone ahead, because the hinterland areas is where we have some big issues right now, that especially in the border area of Region 1, Region 9. Region 9 has gone down a little, but Region 1, we've seen some deaths in that area there. Region 4, big area up to this morning. I just told you that a family friend died. He's in his 70s, but he was a big follower of the Kaieteur radio here, the Wake Up Guyana show, and I say deepest condolences to the family there. Argument over cash leaves a teen dead. Ministry malls rotation system for Starbrook Park bus drivers. This is interesting because we know the congestion around the Starbrook. Too many minibuses or bad arrangements. It could be a combination of both. Establish strong criteria for oil blocks to keep bad companies at bay, says Chatham House. And this watchdog body has been commenting on things in Guyana, taking our oranges and giving us peanuts. This is the front page comment here. Kaieteur news as normal. They've been giving it out for a couple of weeks now. Imagine your stepfather sold out a large farm which your real father left for you. He sold it to your friend who lives in Canada, Robert, who lives in Canada. Once a year, Robert sends over a few oranges. Your family is so happy to receive these few oranges every year that you want to hug and kiss Robert and tell him that he's a good man. What a good man he is to send the family some oranges. You do not realize that's your own oranges that he's sending to you. It's your farm from which he's picking thousands of other oranges and selling to make himself rich. If you had control over your father's farm, you'd be able to sell the oranges and use that money to buy whatever fruits and food you need. This is similar to what is happening to our oil blocks. With our oil blocks, the persons and companies which have given these oil blocks are now handing out a few peanuts each year. Interested? Get your copy of the Kaieteur newspaper today. In the meantime, let me tell you that at 1:35 we are going to have Region 3. This is in the West Demerara area. commander, police commander, you would have known that we've been talking with Errol Watts. We promised to invite him, and we're going to be inviting. We're going to have more guests here now. I'm ready for it. I think you guys are ready for it. We're going to bring these players that are involved in the organization that affect us, and we want to ask them the questions. We're going to bring telephone companies. We're going to bring regulatory bodies representatives from them. We're going to be bringing you all the rest of the representatives for the various organizations. Of course, when we see those little stories that enlighten us, like the little boy who sold pizza in order to pay his way through college for a law degree. 22 years old, was such an uplifting story yesterday. We're going to bring you those stories, and there's so many others. I understand some women from the Mahaica East Coast area there, they're now making sausage and things like that. We want to tell these little stories about our people who are, they're taking the chance, and let's go forward and do whatever it is that we have to benefit our people. So we're going to bring Mr. Watson a very, very short while onto this program here at about 1:35 p.m. And he's going to be talking to us about his crime fight. He's going to be talking to us about things, about the COVID-19, of course, Christmas, what is going to happen. So let me tell you a little about the story here. Stakeholders to collaborate on decision to reopen school. Very important thing. Many housewives and moms and everybody else are interested as to what is going to happen with regards to the opening of public schools and what do we call opening. So this is the government statement that came out the last couple hours. Minister of Education, Prematic Chances preparation are being made for schools reopening despite there being no time frame in place. And so Minister Manik Chan addressed the issue during an interview on a radio station early this week. I think it's Hits and Jams. She said that the decision to reopen school requires collaboration with stakeholders. Within the course of this week, we would be consulting and taking a position at the cabinet to determine when we want to go back, and that would be fully informed by not only me, but by the Ministry of Health, local government who runs education in the various regions. Minister Manik Chan said. She also reminded listeners that the Minister of Education does not determine how much money is spent in the various regions in schools. However, she said this time around, the ministry has had a more hands-on approach by outlining priority areas for the reopening of schools across the country. This includes considering the recommendations made by teachers, parents, and students. With that, Minister Manichan says hand washing stations, adequate ventilation, and spacing are some of the matters being addressed, especially for CSEC and CAPE classes. These classes are likely to be the first to return to school. One of the global concerns surrounding the pandemic is learning loss by students, which is something the government is trying to undermine. And this would come at the time yesterday. You could recall it. Just stop here about Esquibble complaining that they are not receiving any kind of help there. With the internet, there is almost poor to non-existent or poor to non-existent there. And some schools are claiming that, or some parents are claiming that they don't even have the work papers there. And the story continues. The timetable has not been set, but children have been engaged across the country in various ways, as we do not have a one-size-fits-all approach. We've been talking about that and the challenges. Even with all that, she added, we do not control how and when CXC set the exams. We have had conversations with CXC from my level to the level of the registrar and the body about what they're going to do with 2021 CSEC exams. While it said very clearly a decision has not been made, but we will see a timetable published. We have to be ready, she says, as it relates to the local exams, such as it relates to local exams such as the National Grade 6 assessment. The minister said that the government will determine how and when these exams will be given. There are tons of options, including writing it at a much later date, doing it at a particular paper, not writing at all, testing up to a certain level. We have a range of options. That's our exams. And in consultations with the teachers, parents, and students, we'll make the best decision, the Minister of Education says. And so that's a story that we'll have to be continuing to follow as we go forward there. And let me tell you about the The residents in Berbice now can access GT&T's Blaze service. Well, I'm not sure if this headline is right, but GT&T did send it out, and it's saying that residents within Corriverton and Skeldon Berbice area cannot benefit from the high-speed Blaze internet services offered by the GT&T. We made a promise earlier this year that we will roll out Blaze in several areas. Though we had a setback with the delivery date due to COVID-19 pandemic, we have still been able to commit to our promise, and we have delivered the Blaze service to Grove, Diamond, Parika, and now Skeldon and Corriverton area. Well, you didn't bring it to all Grove, I can tell you that. Says GT&T product lead on fixed broadband service Jamal Innis. With more than 1,000 households now set to benefit from the service, and Innis shared that Blaze expansion have been welcomed by the community. We appreciate the response we have been getting already, and we're pleased to provide this community with high-speed internet. It's a speed that has been demanded, and we'll adjust more to an increased reliance on faster connectivity. And they said already a family has been benefiting. Residents of both Corriverton and Skeldon are encouraged to sign up for the service. The installations are set to start next week, which is a good thing. While I've been beaten up on GT&T, the fact that they're moving now after liberalization is a good thing because they need to deliver, especially with the school system as it is and the need for fast internet. Let us see where that goes, because we are going to continue to talk about that. In the meantime, let me just quickly read this, because this has to do with the minimum wage increase within the private sector. Discussions are on the way to increase the minimum wage in the private sector to $6,000, even as consideration is given to how the COVID-19 pandemic has affected businesses. Minister of Labor Joseph Hamilton made his disclosure during an interview with DPI on Tuesday, and he's saying that they're moving it to increase it to $60,000 from the current $44,200. There's about $15,000 more to make it into $60,000. And he says there's a tripartite committee and they have not met. So this is very good news that we have at the moment. And so we are going to continue to bring you the details of that as we move forward. So I want to say thank you very much for being with me as we give you those updates, things that you need to know about in Guyana. It's a Wake Up Guyana show. It is 62222. We want you to send those messages to us today. Send your messages to 62222. It could be the WhatsApp message or the SMS messages. And of course, after 1:35, after we speak to Mr. Errol Watts, who is the police commander in Region 3, we are going to be joining you on the telephone calls there to take some of your messages on whatever it is that is affecting you today. I think most persons would have those queries that they would have raised. We did try to reach halfway through. I'm going to have to follow up with the Minister of Public Works about what is happening there, about that big hole that is said, or the depression in the road at the Mahaica. They promised to send a team. Do we have anybody who knows whether they have sent a team there? We need to know. Please keep us updated. Please send us pictures, what is happening there, whether people have started work or the depression has gotten worse. We don't know. In the meantime, I want to say welcome to everybody who would have joined us from overseas or locally on Facebook here. And there is a couple of them that has been on with us. And we got to say good day to Bibi Shabira Hussein. I think she's all the way in Europe there. Sodra Bodram, and of course Rita Jagmohan as always. They have been around day in, day out. Soren and Corinne Passad, how you guys doing? Reshma Passad, Sati Ramdas, Bibi Ali. I want to say good day to Mr. Omar Dion Ryan, Randolph Koo. How you doing? That's my uncle, all the way there from New Jersey, saying hi, Leonard. Hi, sir. I hope that you're feeling better. Would have been a little ill there for a little while or been tested positive. So you guys got to protect yourself. Gail Bacchus, Ken Kendrick, all the way from Europe, I think also there. I want to say good day to Joy Seach, Sam Basio, Sharda Budu. How you doing, my dear? I think it's Data Yeah, Data Nandal. And we go down. If I miss you guys, just forgive me. Can't see everything. Shafiq Shafi and Ceciline Jaising, wherever you are today, want to say good day. Do we have those folks in the room already? Yes. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna start. We're gonna start getting our people in the room here right now. Let's bring on the commander, and so we could start moving on that at the moment. So, yes. So we are gonna in a very short while. We're gonna tell you it's that time almost for the CARICOM General Insurance time. Better value for better protection. Get your ship and cargo covered with us today. CARICOM General Insurance Company Inc. at 121 Regent on Arnock Street. To better serve you, you can now purchase your insurance online from the comfort of your home. Telephone 225 1787 or 269 0020. CARICOM General Insurance Company Inc. It's that time for that. Get yourself linked up with some insurance there. So in the meantime, we are gonna while we are setting up to be in connection there with Police Commander Errol Watts. Let me tell you, please, for all sake, for God's sakes, make sure that you protect yourself. You have to. You have to. COVID-19 is there, and especially with the elder folks, I have to be more careful too as I'm getting into that stage there too, to the elder side of things. Um, the minute that you push past 40, so you got to start looking at things like all kinds of health issues. Check your heart. If you have issues with other issues, you know what it is, that you would have to do some insertions from the rear there to check. And so I think we're almost ready for Commander Errol Watts there from the Region 3 area. Are you there, Commander? You hearing us? I think they're still setting up there, so we are going to await them until they get themselves in order there. So in the meantime, let's go very quickly into what the newspaper is saying here. Maybe we would have missed some stories. I think yesterday it was that I did receive a circular that came. Somebody leaked it to me. A circular that came from Bank of Guyana as to. Let me see what it says here. Yes. It is going to be interesting to see why what the bank again is saying to its people, and I'm going to read to you. And they're talking about the amendment to supervision of guidelines number 13, anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism. Big terms. And all it simply says, in order to break it down, I think, Commander, you hearing us? I think you have to unmute your mic if you're hearing us, Commander.
Yes, I'm hearing you, sir. Good afternoon to our listeners.
Thank you very much, Commander. I think
Commander of Police.
yes, they're hearing you. They're hearing you very clearly. I want to say good day to you, sir, and thank you for taking time off from your very busy schedule. I know that you have indicated some time back that you're always available to be on with us. So thank you very much, Commander Errol Watts. Maybe if you could lower your volume if you have the radio on, and let us just deal with this here. So go right ahead. What's happening down in Region 3? What's the weather like over there? We don't hear you, Commander. I think it's on your side there. Just unmute your mic there if you can. Some a little more technical issues here until we get that fixed. You know, on the west side there, the internet is not so that perfect. In the meantime, we are logged on to Police Commander Errol Watts on the West Demerara area there. I think he would be stationed somewhere there in the Lenora area and on the west coast of Demerara. So in the meantime, we are. Have we lost them? I think we would have lost them there. So we are going to continue to check with them. In the meantime, while we're going to get that, let me tell you what the Bank of Guyana says. This big thing here, what they're saying there, we did tell you that the Bank of Guyana has released new measures which allow you now to not have to go through a whole lot of hoops in order for you to open your account or maintain your bank account. You can recall following the passage of the anti-money laundering laws a few years back, the local banks and financial institutions would have been making some big demands on our people in Guyana here. Um, and what they would have been doing is asking you, just if you have existing account, to just come back, bring your ID card, bring a proof of address, so you can make sure that it is indeed you. And so it started there. The problem that we started experiencing in a big way is when you had to open accounts. There was a whole bunch of documents that you were asked to produce, and so in the meantime, while we're getting connected there, but so I'm telling you there was a whole bunch of stuff that you had to produce. They asked you for your ID card, your passport, and a whole bunch of stuff. And so what the Bank of Guyana did now, because pensioners have been complaining, especially about the hardships of the Guyana's moving out to, instead of you got to line up that you have an account at the bank, and for you, as pensioners, to have the money go directly to the bank. And so here we are right now, that the Bank of Guyana has made it very clear that, look, they sent out a circular to all the financial institutions, and they're saying that, look, you could even produce a driver's license now as a form of ID, and as they already said, that address that's on your driver's ID could be used as a proof of address also. So these are things. So this circular here that we've gotten our hands on, that was leaked to us, is basically through, I think, to the various operating agencies like the banks and places like NBS and trust company and so, who are involved with financial transactions. And they're saying, in the meantime, I think, Commander, you hearing me? Huh? We lost him again. So, so what are we gonna do? Maybe we could probably try to call him directly on his phone, and let us maybe do that and just keep his face there. So our apologies there. Bad internet. All thanks to GT&T and for not doing things on the West Demerara area, and that's one of the problems that we have. If it is, our police commanders can do a simple thing like Zoom in this day and age. What happened to those students? And these are things that we continue to complain about until such time. Um, so the production, so this circle is saying the production of one official identification document, either national or a valid passport or a thing. Let me see what it's saying here. Okay, where a customer, the new inclusion, these are the new things. Where a customer has been rated as a low risk by the licensed financial institution, LFI, know your customer details should be updated once every 7 years. So this is what is being, instead of every year that you're required to put documents, Bank of Guyana is saying to the bankers, you need to do this every 7 years. Do not put that burden on the people. And so in the beginning, there's a reason why they're doing this now. I think Fred Kisun, and so in his column, would have been asking, why now Bank of Guyana? Well, Bank of Guyana, while they've been very thing, I've been managing to talk to a couple of the officials and says, look, when we came on, we lost the correspondent banks. I think it was Bank America, because it was expensive to do transaction in Guyana, because you had to do a whole bunch of stuff. Guyana was a high risk country in terms of money laundering, and so Bank of America dropped out, and Guyana had to do a bunch of stuff to tell companies abroad, bankers abroad, that look, we have the systems in place, and we had to do a couple of things to work to get those bankers or a correspondent bank in place. And if you don't have a correspondent bank, let me tell you what's going to happen. You can't send money abroad. You can't receive from money abroad. If you're shipping to China or you're shipping from China, you can't send or receive those monies. So you have a whole bunch of problems that's happening. So how are you going to sell your gold? How are you going to receive your money? How are you going to export your fish and receive those money? How are you going to order your supplies? So that's why you need a correspondent bank to transport. You cannot use places like Western Union or so for those big transactions. You might need about $200,000. You got to send right away 200,000 US, which might be chump change for some of those big businesses like Banks AH and so on, GT&T. So all these things have become things. So 7 years, they're saying do it every year. And they're also saying that the segregation of client relationship by risk categories such as high, moderate, and low, where the low risk category may now include individuals and entities whose Identities and source of wealth can be easily identified, and transactions in these accounts conform mainly to known profile. Example of low-risk customer include salaried employees. So they're saying salaried employee, don't give them such a hard time anymore. You need to, accept whose salary structure well defined. Other could we maybe call him directly? Yes, we're going to try to call the commander there. Our apologies, because we really need to talk to him. Other individuals who belong to lower economic strata of the society whose accounts show small balances and low turnover, including pensioners. We did talk about that, and it is here. Housewives, domestic workers, and students. Government departments and government-owned companies, regulators, and statutory bodies may also be categorized as low-risk customers. And they're saying that the LFIs, which are the financial institutions, are reminded of the requirements of Section 5.1, Paragraph 5 of the guideline, which states that once a relationship has been established, ongoing due diligence on the business relationship and scrutiny of transaction should be undertaken throughout the course of that relationship to ensure that the transaction being conducted are consistent with institutional knowledge of their thing. So I'm going to ask my operator there maybe to call the gentleman directly and tell him that let me see. 1 second, folks. Let me think. We're trying to do a whole bunch of stuff one time. Look, call him on this and let us see. 1 second. So we are trying to get a commander directly on the line, and again, no thanks to the poor internet on the West Denver area, we can't be able to make contact to the commander of Region 3, District 3 there, Errol Watts. We want to talk to him. About what is happening there. So in the meantime, what I could tell you is there's some messages that is coming in. We are going to read those messages.
The mobile telephone that you have.
Okay. Yes, I think we could. I think could we make a call? Could we make a call to the number? Okay. Look. I think this is a number here. Look. Okay. So we are going to wait while we try to make that connection. Our apologies about the stuff here, but we need to get, especially on the west side there. I want to say good day to the west side. I know that you're all interested in what the police commander is going to say about Christmas. What are some of the impact that's going to be by the police has announced that there's going to be, the police has announced that there is going to be some tightening of measures with regards to the Christmas season. And let us see what happened with regards to that. I think. Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. Commander?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
This IT guy feeling me, talk to him, please. Hold.
Okay.
Yeah, we have some technical issue with it.
All right, then no problem. What we could do is talk directly to the commander on the phone, because that might be a very good thing instead of us going through the pains of the poor internet.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'm on the phone.
Yeah, no problem, Commander. Thank you very much, and our apologies. We know that you're a very busy man, and I know a lot of people want to hear what is happening. Well, congratulations. The first thing that we learned is that you have been doing some good job across there. A lot of people calling and telling us that you're very strict and you don't beat around the bush. Even some Kaieteur news staff is here. I understand that was pulled up some time back, and you don't see favoritism. That you have your job to do. What is happening down in Region 3? You've been there how many months now?
Well, good afternoon to all the listeners. I am Senior Superintendent Watts. I'm the commander of Region 3, West Demerara Esco Island, from the 6th of August this year, and I'm pleased to be your commander. We are here to serve and protect and ensure that security and public safety is our top priority in this region.
Mm-hmm.
We want to ensure, should I go on, sir?
Yeah, you go right ahead, sir. You do.
We want to ensure that all the COVID-19 regulations in Region 3 are complied with. And this is because of the fact that we have in excess of 284 positive COVID-19 cases. So we have to ensure that there's no large gathering at rum shops, bars, and other public places in breach of the COVID-19 regulations. So we're urging all persons in Region 3, as long as you're in a public setting, please wear your mask Please ensure when you're entering your business places, food houses and so, you wash your hands properly. We have sanitization processes at all police stations, and we're providing masks at police stations for persons who are here to make reports, and we're ensuring that we as law enforcement set the example in Region 3.
Thank you very much, Commander. And so let's get right on to it. You talked about the COVID-19. How much of a problem is it for your region there? And we don't know about the other regions. Let's talk about Region 3. How much of a challenge? Are people aware that they have to take precautions, or are you having a problem with that?
Well, in terms of public awareness programs, we have been sensitizing the entire region. We have joint patrols, joint defense force and police patrols throughout the west coast and west bank of Region 3, inclusive of Leg 1 and Wakenham. And we have been informing all persons as to the importance of wearing masks and staying away from public gatherings. But our biggest challenge is at the places where persons want to imbibe.
Mm-hmm.
Because, when you're imbibing, you will never wear masks.
That's
and
right.
That's the highest risk possibility for you to be exposed to the dangers of COVID-19. So we are very stringent with our enforcement activity in that regard.
Very good. And so far, what you've seen over the last couple of months, could you give us an idea, Commander, as to the number of persons who appeared in court? Do you have a ballpark figure there at the top of your head?
Yes, we have prosecuted in excess of 400 persons in Region 3 for various breaches of COVID-19 rules. And we have seen, we've gotten very good support from the magistracy.
Mm-hmm.
Persons were fined in excess of $10,000 or 2 weeks imprisonment, and they have all paid the fine. So the message is there in terms of stay away from areas where breaches are going to occur, because the police are going to arrest you and prosecute you. We are very serious with that.
Mm-hmm. And I understand, I even saw one video of yourself walking into a bar. Everybody freeze. You think the people are learning the lesson?
Yes. The people are very supportive of what we're doing. We are receiving a lot of kudos from government agencies, from private sector, from the citizenry, and we're very pleased with the support we're getting. Based on that, persons are calling in advance when they recognize breaches, and we're very much appreciative of that, and we're taking action so as to win the confidence of the public.
I thank you very much for that. When it comes to, just for the sake of education, when it comes to bars or those places that have to be closed, could you remind the people that's on the west side there especially, what are some of the measures that they need to adhere to? When the supermarkets close, when are the shops supposed to be closed? How is it working? What is it?
Well, at the moment, the COVID-19 regulations start from 21 hours in the evening, 21 hours to 4 a.m. But for bars and rum shops, they have to remain closed at all times.
Mm-hmm.
The other eating places, they have to adhere to social distancing and sanitization at the approach. And there's no dining permitted within the premises. And if they are dining, they have to get outdoor dining, and it has to be in relation to the guidelines provided. But we are urging them to adhere to all those rules that are there. But even when they're congregating outside, they should wear their mask, and they should ensure that they have maintained social distancing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And of course, you're not only involved with the COVID-19, which I believe, has it stretched your resources in terms of monitoring for the COVID-19? Because we also have other areas that the police has responsibilities for.
It does stretch our resources, but what we're doing best, we are managing limited resources that we have and maximizing its usage. So it's a challenge, but at the same time, we are learning and we're getting more proficient in what we do in terms of ensuring we reach out to members of the public and ensure we reached our mandate, which is to ensure that law and order is maintained and adherence is there to the COVID-19 guidelines.
Now, you have a very big area across there, and I think one of the measures also coming back to the COVID-19, Commander, is how public transportation is being handled. How are you making out in terms of monitoring the public transportation, minibuses, hire cars, and so on?
Well, what we're doing, we work in collaboration with the Hire Car Driver Association, the Minibus Association, and we had meetings with them. We going to all the parks, and we're having meeting with them, and we're getting buy-in. They are very willing. They're willing. They're listening, and they're adhering to our rules because we, by ourselves, cannot do everything. So we have to engage our stakeholders in this process. And so far, kudos to them. They're doing well, and they're cooperating, and we educate them, and they educate the drivers of minibuses and hire cars.
And of course, Commander, I switch to another area here, crime. One of the areas that is a hotspot is that on the Neiman, Parfait Harmony, and those areas, Rick Dorsey, and so on. How have we been able, and we're talking right across the West Demerara, East Bank, Essequibo area, and even the islands as well. Have we seen a drop in the number of criminal cases or criminal reports?
We have seen a slight drop in the criminal reports, but we're concerned about the Parfait Harmony, Rick Dorsey, on the Neiman is one big area. So what we have done, we have channeled our resources through team policing and community policing route of arrangements in the villages by day in particular, and late into the evening and as late as 21 hours, where we have Aberdeen patrols, armed policemen in uniform, patrolling certain key strategic areas like the last bridge and other areas, and we're ensuring that when persons are off duty, when they're going home with the taxis or on foot, they are safe in those areas. The biggest challenge here is the lighting. We are advocating for the support to be given to those communities, for lights to be installed on those streets, so persons can be safe, police can, while patrolling, can see what is happening around them, so they can have a better appreciation of any potential criminal activity or so. So lighting is the biggest challenge, and secondly, there is a large vegetation along the edges of the road, which is causing a potential haven for criminal elements. So if those two issues can be addressed by government agencies, local government, and the Public Infrastructure Ministry, we'll be most grateful.
And thank you very much for that, Commander. And so we have some, like Christmas. I know that the police would have been talking about there is going to be a campaign for Christmas there as is normal every year. There's also, I think the police would have issued a statement with regards to tint. Could you tell us what is it that we should expect from the West Side Police at this point in time with regards to Christmas and tint?
As it relates to the Christmas patrol, we will have an enhanced presence at strategic areas along the West Coast. For example, Demerara Bridge on the western side. We have a police outpost there. We will increase our presence there. Schoonard, at the head of Schoonard going into Parfait Harmony. We'll also have checkpoints there. We know who ferry selling is a very key area to us. We'll enhance our presence there. At the moment, there's a COVID-19 system set up there where all boats coming across from Georgetown, persons are tested, and we ensure adherence with masks as well as on Perica ferry selling. But throughout the shopping areas on the west side, West Coast and East Bank, Essequibo, there will be booths set up where police will man them from the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning till about 9, when the COVID-19 regulations would have expired. And after that, we'll have vehicle patrols in an enhanced way throughout the region to ensure that during that time, from the 15th of November to the 15th of January, crime is kept to its minimum on the west side. We will seek the permission of the public so that they can call in and let us know any potential criminal activity or so that they suspect. We will respond appropriately. So our response time will be a very key thing to us, so as to win public trust and confidence.
Obviously, and is tint, right?
In terms of the tint, we on the west side will ensure that all persons traversing on the west bank and west coast and East Bank Essequibo roads adhere to the laws of Guyana, which provides for when vehicles have on tints, the police must be able to see from outside the identity of persons who are within those vehicles. If we cannot see the identity of those persons in those vehicles, that is a breach, and we will take all action to ensure that they are in compliance with what the law stipulates. That visibility of the identity of the person must be clearly seen.
And on the same note, Commander, I put you in a little spot here now. Many persons complain about police ranks and even officers with tint, heavy tint, even right across the screen. And we could talk about that tint on the front screen. I have an issue with it, not for the police only, but I see some our people actually tinting the front windscreen. What's the police stance with that, and what's the police stance with officers with deeply tinted cars? Is it normal that all ranks could have that facility available to them?
No, no. Well, what I do, I lead by example.
Yes, sir.
So before I start my campaign with members of the public, I have started my campaign within the Guyana Police Force in Region 3. All the traffic ranks who have vehicles with tint, we advise them to take it off. Where they have not taken it off voluntarily, we have our certified officers, Sergeant Dodson and Sergeant Roberts, and them going around. We have a former traffic chief with us. Superintendent Prasad is my deputy. He goes around and we ensure that all the traffic ranks in our division take off their tint. And if they don't do so voluntarily, there's an offense. They can be charged and placed before the court without the permission of the commissioner, or they could be charged departmentally for bringing discredit on the reputation of the force. We have not reached a stage where we have charged any one of them so far. We hope not to reach that stage, but they are adhering to our instructions to have those things take off. And we have to support the system by leading by example. We cannot enforce laws which we are breaking. That is not the conduct I want to lead persons in this division with.
I thank you for that, Commander Errol Watts of the Region 3 area, Escobar Islands, as well as the West Demerara area. And Commander, one of the things that I always push for is having a Guyana police force, and I think this is what the Guyanese people are asking for. That is very service-oriented. However, we know over the past years, it's been a turn-from situation. What role are you playing to bring the police closer to the people, to have a better relations with the people, especially on the west side, on the Region 3 area?
Well, I'm very happy that you have given me the opportunity and the way that you have put it over. We have done in excess of 25 community outreaches throughout this region. We were in Leg 1, we were in Vietnam, we were in Porica, Parapet Army, we were in 4 or 5 areas down there, and we were on Coglan Dam and all the Windsor Forest and all the areas in the West Coast. We are going there with an open mind to ask the persons in the community what are their problems, what they would like to see the police do differently, and we are getting tremendous response, and we are taking action, and we have seen, because we are doing that, we have seen a serious decline in traffic violations and in crime. And that's the way we're going. We call it in India, I was on a course there, we call it in India policing by consent. The people must be part of our plan, and that's exactly what we're doing in this region. We're seeing the fruit of our labor.
I thank you for that, Police Commander of Region 3, Errol Watts. I want to ask you, sir, just before I hand the floor over to you, maybe for your final comments, sir, I know that you're very busy. Have you instituted an open door policy? Like, if I'm the part of a member of the public there, and I'm not too satisfied with what is happening at the particular station, or I see something and I don't want to talk to anybody, does Errol Watts have an open door policy in which members of the public could come to him and say, look, sir, I don't feel comfortable, or I've gone there and it has not been resolved? What do you say to the people with regards to that?
Well, I'm very happy again with this point that you have raised. I have an open door policy. Every day I see members of the public. In addition to that, what I have done a banner of my photograph and all my telephone numbers, my office and personal telephone numbers, and the one that was given to me by the police force. And I have it placed at each police station at conspicuous places. So members of the public can come, and if they're not satisfied with the police station with what service they receive, they can call me, and they have been doing that over the past 2 months. I'm very pleased, and they can tell you, if you were able to interview a few of them, that we respond very promptly to whatever call we receive. We investigate and we take appropriate action. So we have an open door policy. Persons can come in anytime at the police station and meet me or call and make reports, and all those reports will be addressed promptly.
And Commander, before I finally hand the floor over to you for your parting words, Yesterday we saw a photograph because I want to put you on the spot here, but I know that you're very capable of answering it. We did see a photograph yesterday at a very important junction, the Freedom Hoop Junction, of a snackhead that's sitting on top of the pavement where the people got to walk. Have you taken note of that? Is there any kind of actions that you're going to take in, or have you done anything to address that situation?
Well, Mr. Gildarie, I'm also happy. I have done a very, very thorough visit, walkabout through the area that I have jurisdiction for in Region 3, and I can tell you openly on this program that I have visited Vrinoop around the junction area there, and persons are sitting on the pavement. I have visited Tushen, the approach to Tushen main road there. I have seen tremendous breaches where persons are sitting on the pavement. And I have also visited Parika, where persons are vending on the areas where persons have to walk. This is a very dangerous practice, but in the situation we are in right now, I have brought the matter up with the regional chairman, vice chairman, and the overseer, and we are soliciting cooperation because we feel that if we work as stakeholder on the Regional Intelligence Committee, where we look at crime and security issues and potential hazards, those are some of the issues that the region has to address, along with other Ministry of Public Infrastructure. We're hoping that they can take those matters into hand to ensure that some sense of order is brought at these three particular areas that are of concern to myself and members of the force in this region and by other citizenry in Region 3. So we're hoping that if you can also have them on a program like this and bring up these matters so they can have them addressed quickly. If you permit me, sir, I would like to talk strictly to what is happening in terms of fatal accidents in our country. I have seen in 2019, 74 accidents occurring with 82 deaths, 7 of whom are children. And alarmingly, in 2020, I have seen 106 accidents with 116 deaths, 5 of whom are children. And of concern to me, I have seen 35 of these accidents in 2020 were caused by private cars. I am urging the public not to travel with private cars. Private cars are not licensed in this country to do hire. So if they're doing that, these private cars, they are in breach of the insurance, and they can be charged twice. One, for using motor vehicle other than for which it is a license for, and secondly, with breach of insurance. And those fines together can amount to an excess of $100,000 in the courts. So we are enforcing that in Region 3 and nationally, and we hope that citizens don't travel with private cars. As long as you see P, don't travel with them. Travel with H cars. We are going to do the rest by enforcing.
Thank you very much for that, Police Commander Errol Watts. And maybe, sir, I might just have to ask you this in parting, and maybe if you'd be so kind to answer. How are you dealing with complaints that comes maybe with ranks under your jurisdiction there or your responsibility that might be involved in activities, illegal activities, taking bribes, etc., etc.? Have you taken a firm stance on that?
Well, by my nature, when people hear about Earl Watts, Senior Superintendent, I don't make joke with corruption. And I would not tell you that there's no corruption in my division. But as long as it's raised its ugly head, I will cut it off. I will take very serious position with corrupt ranks in my division, and I will engage the commissioner, and we have dialogues, and action are taken immediately based on my recommendation. So I urge our ranks to be very ethical and have integrity, and if they don't, we'll ensure that action is taken very firmly to deal with those corrupt officers who are still among our midst.
Commander, I thank you very much. You've been very candid in some of the answers to the questions. Is there anything that you want to say to the people of Guyana before we call it a day with you?
I would like to let the people of Guyana know that based on Article 32 of the Constitution, they have a role to play in the fight against crime in Guyana. We are only the primary law enforcement agency, and we cannot fight crime effectively without them, and we're urging them to come on board with us, provide us with information where the criminal elements might be or where they are, and we are going to take the action, we are going to take the risk. Even though COVID-19 exists, we will take precautions, but we have to ensure at all times we execute our mandate, which is to ensure that the persons in the community of Region 3 and nationally are free from the elements of criminal activities, and that is what we will do. That's our duty, that's what we are paid for, and we are prepared to do it professionally, and we hope that members of the public come on our side and support us in this regard.
I thank you very much for that, Commander. As always, it's been a pleasure talking to you. And of course, Kaieteur Radio, the Wake Up Guyana show, also would want to invite you back sometime in the future. Feel free to call me up and say, Gildarie, I want to make a statement, and we'd be more than happy to accommodate you. And thank you very much, sir, for instilling confidence in us with regards to the police. We want to partner with them also. Have a pleasant rest of the day, sir.
Well, I'm happy also that you host me, and I will hope that we have future engagement so we can bring our messages across to the public and they can know exactly where we stand in respect to public safety and security issues. Thank you.
Good day and have a pleasant rest of the day. This is Police Commander of Region 3, Errol Watts. Have a pleasant rest of the day, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. So in the meantime, that was very enjoyable with regards to the commander there. He doesn't make any, I've known him, I think he was up in Barbies there, very straight commander when it comes to dealing it. If you come to him with stupidness, he's going to deal with you according to that way. I've not known him of any other way except that he's very straight up. If you call him and you ask him to divert something or to do something out of the way, he's going to tell you, no, I'm going to go according to the law. But he's a very reasonable man also. And so I want to say good day to the folks down in the west side, in the Region 3 area there, whether you are in your minibus, whether you're in school teaching, or whatever it is that you're doing, to the farmers, whether you're in the store, housewives, I want to say good day to you all the way to Parika, Vreden, Hope, Wales, all the way to Sisters Village, Parfait, Harmony, Canal number 1 and 2, Bell West. Wherever you are, I want to say good day to you. Make sure that you're safe, protect yourself, and that we could continue to live our lives. It's a very exciting country as we see it at the moment, but we have to, we have to ride this period, this pandemic period through. See that we become or we come out of it much stronger. So in the meantime, it is the Wake Up Guyana show here. This is your host, Leonard Gildarie. We're coming to you live from the Saffron Street studio of Kaieteur Radio on 99.1 in Esquibo and Demerara, 99.5 in Berbice. We also streaming to you live on Kaieteur Radio on Facebook and the Kaieteur Radio live stream on YouTube. You could send us those texts 6222222. You could talk about anything that you want to talk about. Let's keep it respectful. Let's keep it up to date. And of course, the number that you call, you want to talk to the people of Guyana, 226-7453. Let those calls come in right about now. In the meantime, it is time for it is that time when we tell you about the CARICOM General Insurance Company Inc. A better value for better protection. Get your ship and cargo covered with us today. CARICOM General Insurance Company Inc. at 121 Regent and Ornock Street to better serve you. You can now purchase your insurance online from the comfort of your home. Telephone 225-1787 or 269-0020. CARICOM General Insurance Company Inc. Raj, do we have a call online? Yes, good afternoon, caller. On the air, go right ahead. I think we would have missed that in the meantime while we getting our people there and saying hello to Barbies and also those folks overseas. Somebody says, let's mention that the police tint here too. Well, we did talk about that, and you heard what the commander would have said. And he's not making jokes about it. So let me see what are some of those messages come out. Hats off to Commander Mr. Errol from Region 3. We need more like him. And of course, let me see what else we have here. Taking of bribe in the police force is also a crime. I do hope that Mr. Commander and all of the commanders will look into this action by ranks of the police force. Well, you did hear him mention and respond to those questions that we would have asked him. You asked him a variety of things here. Very quickly, within those couple minutes, he would have been able to say it very frankly. Dear Mr. Gildarie, good afternoon. In keeping with the argument that politicians' feet must be kept to the fire, Robert Prasad and Donna Ramatar should give their cited story read the giveaway of the Kanji block. The silence is deafening. An interesting observation there. Good afternoon. Can you ask the commander what his plan to deal with the police officer who have heavily tinted cars, and what you think about the police who's hiding behind trees to catch persons speeding over the riverside? Well, we did talk about the tint area there, and I think when it comes to bribes and so on. Hi, Leonard Gildarie. I like government or the minister who's in charge of security to look into Caliber's security, the officer and more, which have a manager name and some zone supervisor threatening workers badly at a working location. Why is Caliber's security supervisor allegedly threatening our people there? Did you report it to the headquarters? What did they say? So, in the meantime, let me see, 206. Okay, good, 120. Hi, good afternoon, sir. We'd like to know what went to know when the COVID-19 team will give back us the money. Who fill up the pink slip of number 3 village? Well, those are you're talking here. I think this pink slip here comes into play. If there are more than one families living in a house, or more than one household living in a property, they make you fill out a form. It's a pink slip in which they come back to you afterwards. They say it could take a couple of days. I'd have to find out from region 6 how long after they would have come when they made the initial visit. So there's a call online already. Good afternoon, calling on the air. Go right ahead. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing? Go ahead.
This is Kaieteur.
Yes, sir. You're on air. Go right ahead.
Yeah, well, I tune into this program every single day. I tune into this program since before the election with the thing. I tune into this program.
Yes, sir.
Now I have vigilance.
Yes, sir.
80 vigilance, and the police have a vigilance station. If the Indian people got a wake, they got a wedding, they got anything, you see the police reach all you already. Everybody, and Buxton have food every night. I don't see the police pass through there. You see the police pass up there drinking beer night time.
Y'all took any pictures of it or anything?
We got pictures of it.
Could you send us whatever it is that you have, 6222222? Are we gonna send it to the commander? I think it's Mr. Pastor.
I got the number.
All right, just send it to us, and then we're gonna take it from there.
All right, then I'm gonna send it. I'm driving right now, so I'm gonna send it.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. So the police must be even-handed in the way that they do things, and whenever we see it, we're going to call them out. People are calling them out now, and that's a very good thing. And it's not only the police. We can see in almost every sphere of our society, wherever you see things happening, do not be afraid. Call it out. We need to erase it. We need to get rid of it. We need to take out that leech which is hanging on to our bodies. Good afternoon, Professor Leonard and the host of the People of Guyana. Oh, the People of Guyana would like to know when the investigation started at the Archon Convention Center on the management. I'm not aware there's a thing. I'm going to have to find out there's an investigation or somebody would like an investigation. Just get back to me on that one, dear. I would be interested to know if there's an investigation, and of course, the obvious questions, why? Let me see before we go back to the lines again. 226-7453. I want you to call us and let us know what's happening. Today, let me see. Good afternoon. This morning was madness on the road, as you usually said. The Harbour Bridge preparing to close for 10:30. Workers already working on the bridge from 9 o'clock. Madness. Lombard Street garbage truck working with backup traffic. Madness again. This morning I came down on this afternoon. Well, it's this morning, just after 11. And I could not believe several parts of these bank road there's one lane, reduced to one lane, because people are offloading, unloading, whatever it is that they're doing there. The Bagatstone area is an issue there. Horse telling is another issue there. So traffic reduced on the busiest roadway in the entire Guyana. Traffic reduced because a few persons decide, oh, it's okay. This morning I stopped in the middle of the road, through my street again. The people took over 3/4 of the road to mix. So I stopped and I asked them. They're working there to do something with the house, somebody's house. And I asked them if they got permission to do that. They said no. I said, could you call your supervisor? Supervisor come. I said, did you get permission? No, but we're going to finish in a very short while. I said, you cannot do that. We just fixed the road. The road belongs to me. I'm not sure if it belongs to you because you now come in, but you don't want to see it destroyed. But the blocked off three-quarter road, I have to go till in the corner to drive, so it's not a very good thing. The Harbour Bridge is preparing to close for 10:30. The workers are already working on the bridge at 9 o'clock. Madness. Lombard Street garbage truck working with backup traffic. Madness again. Whoever went to court this morning and the block around the court, you got to see the traffic block up around there 10:30. This place is definitely frustrating. I feel the frustration there from that person. Do we have another call? Good afternoon, caller. You in the air? Go right ahead.
Hello?
Hi, yes. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I
ma'am.
was listening to your conversation just now, and like you said, mentioned somewhere where school is thinking about reopen.
The ministers start talking to the parents, to the teachers. This is the Ministry of Education about in which ways they could open the school. They haven't fully decided yet, but the matter is to go to the cabinet of ministers where they all sit down and decide what is the best way. Because of the different areas, some might not have internet, or so they have to do it differently. They might very well think about taking the CSEC and the CXC class, those CSEC classes and the CAPE classes, maybe a little earlier because there's not so many students like the other rest of the classes. But they're working with it. It's a big challenge right now that they're trying to see how they could do it, maybe in phases, in parts. But Cabinet of Ministers is to discuss it very shortly.
No, here what is my concern. Now these children will, let's say it happens that they're going to school. What about, children not as careful as the big people? They're big elderly people at home. When these children or these youngsters, whoever go out to school, every day, you don't know what they're bringing home.
Right.
And they come home to elderly people. And to me, that looks like it will pose a problem. And another thing, some time ago, I listened to a press conference where the Prime Minister and others with the police and the soldiers, they had some press conference with the minister. And I really thought that the police and the soldier would be more involved with people in Region 4 especially. I don't know for others. I went yesterday in Georgetown and I was shocked to see if you travel from Enmore on the railway embankment in the morning from 6 or 6:30 to 9, you travel from the railway embankment, you will shocked to see how many people, big people, gathering, lining on the street corners, people traveling in bus without masks. You go in Georgetown, the people without masks. You go to the park, people, the bus conductor and drivers have the mask on the chin. And when you tell them if you're carrying two in a seat, they tell you plain, no, you have to carry 12 persons in a bus. How could COVID ever stop? And I wish if the police and the soldiers charge these people. Charge them. Just right. Even in the villages, you surprised to see, just drive around, charge them. Because something I wonder, if this government was the opposition, they would have fight down the government then in power. That they're not doing enough. Now, I went to the hospital. This is another matter at the hospital. After almost a whole year, I haven't seen the doctor at the eye clinic because of COVID and whatever. Now, I don't know what you would consider serious because poor people go to public hospital and only when you're sick you want to go to the hospital to get help because you're sick. And to my surprise, when I went there, it's not the first time I go, but the doctor kind of asked me how long you have this problem. And I told her like about 2 years ago. And she said, well, you need to go and see, because the first time I saw Dr. Sugrim, he said, well, Mom, you have to go and get yourself looked after at Woodlands Hospital, where you will see Dr. Sugrim. $5,000 the consultation, $5 and $100-something for the surgery, a laser surgery. Oh my God! I'm a senior citizen. I'm a pensioner. Where am I going to find that kind of money to do that? Why? What's happening with public hospital? All the patients that are going there, the nurses telling them you have to go and buy Not go to the dispensary and collect your repeat. Go and buy whatever drugs. Now, how they fare to all the people?
Mm-hmm.
Where would be about 100 and something $1,000? Where would you find it to go at Woodlands to do that?
It is a big issue. So, all right. So we're gonna, I think, be bringing those issues up, and as they come up, we would make it aware to the authorities that be.
And I would very, very much appreciate if you could just, this COVID thing is getting out of hand. And like I said, this government, to my mind, is not doing enough, except half of the population died. Maybe then they will understand. Charge, you don't want to close the country down? Fine. Charge the people them. Let police drive wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Charge them. You got to put out a campaign for a day or two, and you will see a difference.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the busmen them are taking really advantage on passengers.
Yes, they're doing. They believe they're above the law until you jail a couple of them because of the madness that they do. I think they believe they own the roads of Guyana, and they've been killing people, doing all kind of madness. Pull out and what?
By the Mahaika car park there, that particular area there, all the bus park, them, all the minibuses, they're just racing to get how much passenger they get, and they want the full 3 in a seat, possible 4, and good to go. They're not even telling the bus picking up people who is not even wearing masks.
Yes, I thank you very much, ma'am, and have a pleasant rest of the day for that, okay? God bless you. So there it is. In the meantime, there's another message coming in. Good afternoon, sir. I'm living on the Linden Suzac Highway in a community called Wayacabra Ideal Road, and we're not getting any lights for a number of years now. And we'd like for someone to look into it. How, let me see. We'd like to see or children what's going on the Laundering channel. We don't if you don't have electricity. So I want to say that I am going to send this maybe, let me see, forward. I'm going to forward this to myself and send this as normal. The ministers are working hard. Whenever I could tell you, whenever I send it to them, they just get cracking on it. So I'm going to send this over to the minister. I think the good thing about it, a couple of weeks back, somebody called about water in the new Prospect Housing Scheme. I send that message to Minister of Housing, Minister within the Ministry of Housing, Susan Rodriguez. She's also in charge of water, like Colin Crowell, the senior minister, or the Minister of Housing and Water. And she went to the Prospect based on the complaint or the request of a resident there. And when she went there, she promised to do certain things within a certain number of days. I could tell you today that I learned that the Ministry of Housing and Water has delivered water to that area there, which is something I kind of like when you see things like this. It means that this show is waking up our ministers, waking up our people, and having them act. And this is a very good thing. So I want to say a good day to our beautiful Minister of Housing, Susan Rodriguez. I want to thank you very much for listening to what the people would have requested and then delivering. These are the kind of actions that we expect to see from our public officials. Good afternoon, sir. I'd like the Public Works Minister to do something about those tolls on the road, since it's causing a lot of problems in the Diamond Road side. Please look into this problem. Thank you very much. I did talk about it because, yes, they're taking up, they're causing a lot of road traffic build up in certain areas, especially leading up to the access roads in Diamond. I can tell you I passed yesterday and I had to raise my eyebrows. I did see somebody set up a closed stall, a closed vending stall. They're selling clothes down there, the side of the road in front of the banks. I'm not sure at what point in time, some of the law, I understand people are going to make a living, but you cannot decide that you're going to do it all over the place. No. That's not how this country works. And I think I think that the NDCs and the Ministry of Public Works have to be paying attention. How can I go to court asking a judge to nullify an election? I'm not sure that there's a couple of people there, and it's a right. It's ingrained in the law that you have that right. I think parties have that right, but there is a procedure to go through, and it's long drawn out, and it have to be done. You could recall the 2015 elections has been the petition by the People's Progressive Party Civic that was not heard, but this one here is being heard. Let us see what happens if that comes up, and next month the case continues, that elections petition case. Apparently there's some issues with the procedures too that the Chief Justice is raising, so we are going to follow it very closely when the end of November, when that case is being heard by the Chief Justice. We are going to be seeing some interesting things coming out, so we are going to keep you posted. Good afternoon, so I let the commander know the ZLOC new scheme. They have a taxi service. There was a lot of private car driving around wild and stopping on the road in the village. And when you talk to them, they want to fight. Yes, it is indeed so. The minibus drivers, the car drivers pulling out when they feel like. You got to see what goes on in Diamond there. I'm going to be taking pictures and just do it because at the end of the day, you don't want to take bread out of anybody's mouth. But like the commander says, if you travel in a private car that's working hire car, and that car gets into an accident, it's a breach of the insurance, and then in addition to that, you have nothing to get. Travel with the H, with a car that says HB or HA. You can't travel with a private car and expect to be given any kind of protection. Good afternoon, sir. You're doing a good job. I'm the person who sent you the text for you to help me get a job. I operate heavy machineries. Okay, thank you very much. I am dealing with that. Hi, Leonard. Please help me. How can someone file a petition against the election commission for not declaring the election in favor of a person who lost the election? Why the court still have to indulge such stupidity? God knows, but at the end of the day, the court would decide whether the case has merits or not. There's a whole bunch of stuff. There's a procedure when you file in cases that you have to go through. If you don't do it, they could strike it out from there. In addition, even if they accept it, you would have to argue for the merits of the case. So there's a couple of things that could be done very early. But whatever it is, at the end of the day, the democratic right of any parties to file motions or not to file motions, that is in the Constitution. And so this is something that we must protect with our lives. When you're talking about the upliftment of standards, of values that stand for people of Guyana, it has to be something that we fight for. You see all over the world, developed countries, when it comes to the rule of law, it is something that is sacred that we have to protect with all our being. So in the meantime, let's go back to our lines. Good afternoon, caller, you on the air. Go right ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie.
Good afternoon, sir. Go right ahead.
Calling from Region 6.
Region 6, East Bobis. Go right ahead.
It appears like GPL had a fun day yesterday because Region 5 and 6 until late last night suffered the people from Kanji to Skeldon body blackout.
I heard so.
I'd be grateful to give us some kind of explanation. We hear nothing yet. Anyhow, I went to the traffic chief, guys in New Amsterdam. I spoke with him, in fact. During the blackout last night, a low bed pulling with this high mark on it. No light at the back of this trailer, but in front. What happened to the people at the back? I spoke to Mr. Williams, and like this man vexed with me how he talked to me. He cut me off like a Spanish station. I'm going to look into it. That particular man is there on the television, and when he talk and answer questions, he sound totally nice. Mm-hmm. But when I spoke with him today, it wasn't he.
No, they got to do something better because when they come here...
When you see something to talk, I don't believe I call him back again. I won't call him back again.
Yeah, I see these are bad things, because you leave a very bad thing. I mean, I would get upset sometimes, but guess what? I think during one of these programs, I did apologize because you realize, everybody got the stress when they call you. You got to give them the thing. So sometimes when you're out there, when you're serving, we would screw up from time to time. But yes, you're right. As a policeman and any kind of service-oriented persons, you have to be very careful and you have to be patient.
Yeah, because people like a danger.
Yes, of course.
And this is not today nor yesterday. This is an ongoing, like a customer practice.
Yes, I hear you, Chief. Yes, sir.
When you look at this thing, now, that interview with Mr. Watts, I gave him star all over body. That man was in Region 6, and that man saved a family from damaging themselves. And in the family was a senior policeman. You know what Mr. Watts did? Chased out the office.
Wow.
He went with family to represent, and he's a policeman and so on. Look, I never forget that day. Chase man out the office.
No, he's a very
That was
serious
a
man.
good
I've known, you know, there are very few. My dad was a policeman that was killed in the line of duty. So I got tons of respect for policemen and knowing the conditions that they're working under. And then I also know some rogue elements within them. So I give kudos, but I also give praise to where it's due.
Mr. Washington, no nonsense man.
Yeah.
Right is right, wrong is wrong. So I listen to the program and say, yes, this man has changed.
Thank you very much.
Station at Region 6. The man has changed.
Yes.
And I'm glad if you could continue that kind of program with the rest of commandos.
I am going to bring them on. There's time. I'm going to be back.
Commandos, all them head of department.
Yes, there's a long line. Huh?
brother-
If Glenn takes me off from the newspaper, I might be able to do a little more radio. Let's see what happens.
I don't know how much people read your last article, Sunday gone.
Which one is that? The one on the I think it
With
was
the Venezuelans and so on and so
Oh
on.
yeah, that is a worrisome. I'm a little worried about that situation. There.
Now, one issue left. This Weather Watch Center. I saw a special report not long ago, and it stated that December, January, we in Guyana will suffer or be faced with a little climate change. I'd be very grateful if you could help us. Let they explain a little more about this climate change, what we expected to face.
Well, I don't think the
Like
weather
up here.
station has to do with that. What we'd have to do is bring some of the experts in because it's bigger than that. This entire area, you'd have to look at patterns and a whole bunch of other things plays into that. There's some developments. If you look every year, you look at what is happening to our overtopping and the spring tides and so on.
Yes.
It's a worry. I was in, I think, I float a couple of years, myself and a lady named Annette Arjun, environmentalist, her family, the Mazralis. And she was there with myself, and we were looking at the overtopping, I think, in the Iflot area there by the seawall. There was a coker, and you would not believe how the waves and the big waves were hammering the coker in there. We were wondering whether it's going to hold up, but Mother Nature, in its full glory, is very frightening.
But on your program, I haven't heard you, I'm not sure, calling like space like Sanford, New Forest, and up the Kanji Creek.
My apologies. Some of these areas I'm now learning. I went at the back there because there was something at the back there, a pump station, I think, at the back by the that New Forest area, somewhere around there.
When last you went there?
It's been a couple of years I went there
couple
because we were
years.
investigating
If you
somebody.
go now, you'll be surprised to see the condition there. They take them for dumping heap.
Wow.
And businessmen doing this thing,
Yeah.
dumping rubbish there.
All right. Thank you very much, my brother.
Yeah, man.
God bless.
That's somebody get a chance.
Yes. All the best to the folks down there in Berbice. And let me tell you, he did raise an issue there. GPL, I think 21 hours ago, did send out a notice on the Facebook page. But I think GPL has to do a little better than this. They can't just put it out on the Facebook page. What they got to do, they got to have somebody seated in their PR department, and this is something I'd have to speak to them about. I'm going to bring them on the program next week. And what they got to do is, so something happened, they go on the television. They have NC, and they could run it across as a banner, send to Kaieteur Radio, and we would be more than happy to do something, let us just announce that, look, you have a blackout in the entire Berbice. But they did send out here in Berbice, service interruption, Canefield to Albion. This is East Berbice, Quarantine, Region 6, and they're saying that there's a service interruption due to a defective component on the 13.8 kV bus bar at the Canefield power plant. And then they went and they issued an emergency notice about 19 hours ago that between Kanji and Skeldon, the transmission line trip has led a power outage between Skeldon and Kanji. And they said that they sent a team of engineers and others to restore the power, and they apologize. But they said that if you're unable to call, and this is an issue that really irks me. They said if you're unable to call, could you we're live 24/7 on our website www.gplinc.com www.gplinc.com. and they said they could have a live chat. But some people were complaining that when they went there, they were not getting through to that website. So I'm not sure what is the situation there right now. But very quickly, let us read some of those messages, and then we're going to come back and hit the lines again. We want to thank you very much for tuning in to the Wake Up Guyana show here on Kaieteur Radio. It's a very busy day, lots of things to talk about, and of course, our people is always engaged, always locked on, always tuned in. And so, Rosignol Zelos NDC as a legitimate market on Stelling Road, Rosignol. The market operates only on Saturdays. However, an illegal daily market is operated not paying daily dues. By the railway line, there's chaos, traffic jams, insanitary conditions. Vending is done on the sidewalk, and the vehicle not stopping but parking. The police do nothing because they collect the prags openly. The NDC playing politics, only talking when confronted. Well, this is what I would say to you, sir. There is a gentleman, I think, down there, Mr. Zamal Hussein. I think I know him very well. There's also another gentleman by the name of David Amargon. He is the chairman for Region 6, and I did tell you there, Zamal Hussein is the deputy chairman. Just tell them that you contacted us, and could they act on this right away, because they're willing to act on these things. When I call them, they act on these things very quickly. Tell them for me that you've contacted me, and you contacted the radio here, and you would like them to look into it, and let's see what actions. If they don't act, get back to me, and so we could talk to them again in a different way, in a different tone. Leonard Namaste, may Allah continue to bless you in Kaieteur News. The definition of for a police officer is the maintenance of law and order and prevention of crime. Can you imagine an intruder entered the premises of the Chief Justice when the two cops were in duty and escaped? That's total lawlessness. I hope they were both placed under close arrest and an investigation was launched. I'm a Guyanese no matter where I live in the world. I love my country. We have the potential to do better, but every day the citizens of Guyana is making Guyana a laughing stock in this world. What example the police are setting for the new generation? When I visit Guyana, I'm never scared because I travel internationally. Can you imagine visiting the Gaza in the Palestine? But when I see a police officer in Guyana, I'm always on guard because you never know what is the modus operandi. Leonard, I refuse to drive in Guyana because I'm not paying any bribes. Sorry, I know things are very hard in Guyana, but the police must understand their roles. But this rogue police officer must be fired promptly. Please enjoy your weekend. Thank you very much for that. In the meantime, let's see what some others very quickly. Okay, no, that one here. My primary school teacher, Bedford Primary, and then my primary school teacher, Bedford Primary School, and then she became the headmistress. Her name was Mistress Boxon. I never forgot that woman, and she said to me, education is the key to success, and to take anybody out of poverty, and that was a black teacher. And that is in my head until now. I went to the Bishop's High School, and I left for New York, and I do something for myself. I always remember my mother saying it takes a village to raise children. I would love to know when I call, I would love to know why when I call I don't ever get through. I'm sorry, a lot of folks are calling, they're sending tons of messages here. We're trying to read that, we're trying to give you the news. There's so many things that we want to do to make this program here more, to reach into your homes or wherever you are, and we're trying that as much as possible. Let's see, as we go by, we're going to try to improve it as we think. Just bear with me a little. I'm looking at it, and so there's a couple of things that I'm playing in my head. I'm going to be back on duty at Kaieteur News next week, so I am going to start introducing this, bringing more guests, and of course making it more interactive from your side. Good afternoon, Leonard. Keep up the good work. Hope Kaieteur Radio maintain the program such as yours, where Guyanese get a voice to call in. Kudos to you. Thank you very much for that. Let me see before we go on. Good afternoon. I wish that the Region 2 commander can follow the same as the Region 3 commander, go out to the villages and hear the people problems. In fact, that goes for all the region. That's Gildarie saying. So, good afternoon, Leonard. The program has become a must listen. I can't leave the office until the program is finished. I thank you very much for that. It's on my program. It's the people's program. That's what we want to say. Hi, Leonard. I'd like the Minister of Labour to look into the caliber security service at Enmore, which the manager take out money from the security office to pay rent for the office of Enmore. I'm not sure how that happens. We need to have I'm going to have to reach out to the Minister of you guys need to file a complaint with the Ministry of Labor. They've started investigating securities form now, I understand, and there was a statement I read out early this week. Hi, Wake Up. I sometimes listen to you, Gildarie. Sorry if I spelled your name. Gildarie. There's another one now. Okay, that's okay. You guys could call me whatever. If I spelled your name wrong. Listening now, right now from the United Kingdom, fellow Guyanese by birth. A good day to the good folks, our Guyanese people living in the United Kingdom. I hope that you guys are having a good day. We have beautiful weather here. It's a little hot. It's a little dry. I'm not sure what kind of Christmas are we going to get. But thank you very much wherever you're joining us from. It's always good to know that you're locked in and keep us posted there. So very quickly, let me see what else. And so let's go back to the lines. Good afternoon, caller. You on the air? Yes, good afternoon, caller. You on the air? Go right ahead.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I really like the interaction with the commander of Region 3. That was really nice.
Yes.
And, you know what I mean? It's like, trust me, Mr. Gildarie, you are doing a very, very good job. And keep it up and continue this thing, boy. That's the only way that Guyanese is going to learn and know about the rules and the regulation or the laws of the Guyana police force. I know how to put it, trust me. But I think you get what I'm trying to say.
No, we try in here as we go down. I think the whole idea is that this is a people's program. Let them come on and say we're just going to provide a forum for it, and we will learn together. Because many things that when I came on, I was scared. I didn't know all the words. Up to now, I don't know. I'm not as eloquent as maybe a lot of the other radio folks. But guess what? When you talk in the people's language, I think it's universal, huh?
Yeah. Well, about 2 weeks ago, right, I was driving down Regent Street. And, there was this minibus. We were going the same direction. Both of us were going west, the western direction. And next thing I know, I saw the bus on the other side of the road. And there was a line, right? And he was trying to get between me and the other car. So I drove and I blocked him from going, right? And asked him what is it he's doing there, right?
Mm-hmm.
The guy, the conductor, he wasn't saying nothing to me. He was just looking at me, and there was a tug in the bus, and he was like carrying on, like if he was driving, I would have seen what he would have done. And, but I dropped the window because the vehicle was driving instead. I dropped the window, and he was like, he was the 45 in there. I don't know what is it with these people, and the customer in the bus, the passenger in the bus, these guys could kill them, and they're not saying nothing.
People are scared, you know the reason why. It isn't that people not saying anything. Traditionally, generally, Guyanese people, we're very laid back, we're very reserved kind of people. We don't like trouble. You can get one, two bad eggs, or I won't say bad eggs, you can get one, two people rowdy, and they will stand up for the rights. But I think it's now about time, because where we're headed, we got to wake up out of the slumber, and that's why this is the Wake Up Guyana show, and we have to do that. We have to, or else we're going to stay back in whatever past that we're stuck in.
Okay, another thing, I'll come to this COVID-19 stuff, right? We all, know that how dangerous it is. You're still seeing people in the bus with no mask. You're still seeing people walking around no mask, right? There are certain villages, they would be able to keep a party or have a big sport or whatnot, and the police, I don't know if they're afraid to go there or they're not allowed to go there. What they need to do, bro, is like the lady called earlier. Charge these people so these people will keep up and understand that they need to protect themselves. They don't know that if they don't protect themselves, they're endangering other people too, because remember, you will be around people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, I don't know, man, but the thing about the police that they're saying they charge to, that's another thing. It's because these days when a man joins the police force, only for one reason, bro.
They want to go to traffic department?
Yeah, right? And that is the attitude of all the police. The moment they join the police force, that's what they want to do.
Well, let's see what happens. We're going to make sure that we make it very uncomfortable, because You have to serve. You have to serve. You want to be it. It doesn't matter if you want to take a particular job and you left stuck in that job because it is what you're in. You have to deliver the services for what you've been paid for.
Yeah, I hear you, brother.
Thank
So
you very.
anyway, thanks again, and we must. Everybody is saying thanks to you, right? Yeah, thanks to you. Yeah, but we need to thank Mr. Glenn too, eh?
Well, it's Mr. Glenn Lalla that allows me. I think he realized now. He says. I think he told me a couple of weeks back, like you don't want to come down to the newsroom anymore. You left stock upstairs. I said I'm obligated to the people. I have to continue it.
Yeah, brother. Trust me, you're doing a wonderful job. Trust me, and you won't believe it. Almost every Guyanese, I'm telling you, just be from 1 o'clock. Just be by the radio listening, bro.
I appreciate that. I don't have an idea how to gauge it, but if that's good, well, that's good. We can start charging them now, right? No, no,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love my people too much, man. Let's leave it aside. God
Take it
bless you,
easy.
my
God bless
brother.
you, brother.
God bless
Take
you.
it. Yeah,
Until
bye.
then. So
Yeah,
thank
bye.
you very much, dear. Wherever that call from, very warm, knowing that there's an appreciation. Well, let me bring you some news now, which you should know about. I think it's the APNU AFC in coalition, the coalition in opposition. They calling on GCOM to ready itself for house-to-house registration. You would know that leading up to the elections that they had wanted house-to-house registration. However, the then opposition, the People's Progressive Party, Civic, they would have been objecting to it because it says any decision to do that is going to delay elections, and so the new chairperson then of the Guyana Elections Commission, Justice Retired Claudette Singh, and a good day to you, ma'am, wherever you are. Um, would have ruled and says, look, based on the court case, you need to put, she's going to put a halt on this house. So they're saying, let's do a house registration, and they want the government to provide the necessary budgetary allocations for GCOM to do the same. So we're going to see how that story develops. However, a couple weeks back, a couple of persons would have been asking us about the distribution of national ID cards. So here's the story here. If you have applied to the Guyana Elections Commission, and because of the elections that happened, you did not receive your ID card, there is a notice coming out now. The Guyana Elections Commission, oh my goodness, I did, okay, good. The Guyana Elections Commission is advising all persons who registered and did not uplift their national ID card that they could uplift same from the GCOM registration office in their respective areas from Monday to Friday, 8 to 1200 hours, and 1300 hours to 1800 hours, 1600 hours, sorry. Um, and this notice is also for persons who requested a replacement card, a photo retake, a change or correction to their registration information. Don't delay. Visit the nearest GCOM registration office to uplift your ID card today. For more information, contact 225-0277 to 9. So thank you very much there for GCOM, because persons, I did call somebody there and they said they are going to address the situation, and I'm glad that finally. So visit your GCOM office in whatever particular area it is, in the Grove Diamond area. I think it's just by DDL there. There's a GCOM office, and I think the rest, if you're living in whatever communities that you're living in, you would have an idea where the GCOM office is, and if you have an outstanding ID card, go for it now. So go for it from Monday, and you should be able to get it. So let's go back there. We want to talk to our people today, very warm people today. Good afternoon, caller. You on the air. Go right ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie.
How you doing?
I'm good.
You sound very happy today. What happened? What did you cook? What did you do? Go right ahead. You on the air. Go right ahead.
I'm fine.
Okay, you're fine. Okay, what's bothering you today? What's the issue today?
Mr. Gildarie, listen to this. I live in a family house.
A family house?
Yes.
Where is this?
In Meadowbrook.
Meadowbrook. This is right in Georgetown, yes?
Yes.
And what happened? Hello?
I got a tenant live downstairs here. I was putting the bicycle by the step. I put the husband in and he falling, so he murder me. He said he went to murder me.
The tenant put his bicycle by the step and he says he's going to murder you?
Yeah. Yes, he said he gonna murder me.
What is the reason? You have some issues?
I'm his good friend.
No, that hasn't to do with anything. Did you report? Why is he gonna murder you? What happened?
He want me move out the house.
Or you want him to move out there? And
He want me move out the house.
but it's your house, isn't it?
It's his father's house.
It's your father's house. And who's the tenant to the family?
My uncle.
I'm not sure how to deal with that. Are they making a claim on the property as well?
It's my brother.
Did you try to talk to a lawyer and see maybe how they could?
He always a bully. He always bully and he get people watching his back.
No, they could say anything and they could always complain and whatever it is. When you deal with issues, you deal with it legally. I understand that we may not have all the money. There's a place in the Mirage building, there's on Charlotte, I think, Charlotte and King Street there, that call, I think is, it's not Help and Shelter, there's Legal Aid Clinic. I think it's the Legal Aid Clinic. You could visit there and talk to a lawyer free of cost, and maybe they could advise you what are some of the things that you could do with regards to that situation there. There's some lawyers who do it free of cost. You call it pro bono. So if you missed that, if you don't know, there is a legal, there's a organization in Guyana that all lawyers, I think sometime or the other, they would give their commitment to give some help free of cost to Guyanese. And of course, there's some conditions to that. If you can afford it, they would give some help. That place there is in the Mirage building on King and Charlotte Street, a big pink building. If you don't know, you can't miss it there. It's standing. So there's a legal aid clinic. So you go there, or you could go to the police as well. Somebody is advising that you could be able to do that. But that lady sounded very, very scared there, and I can understand that when you don't have any issues. You see, when persons call in here, as like I've always said, I wish that we don't have a situation that people would have to call here, that our system's working. Unfortunately, that is where we are. The NDCs are not working, the RDCs are not working, the main town councils are not working, and so the police and everything, all the regulatory bodies and everything, big problems here. So we need to fix that. We need to strengthen them, and so the people does not have to complain anymore. So very quickly, in the meantime, let me read to you pleasant. Let me see. So very quickly, good afternoon, Mr. Leonard. Keep up the good work. Most of these rogues have to be transferred, so they're allowed to make. So they're not allowed to make other people's lives misery. Hi, Leonard. Good afternoon. Can you please find out if they still have a problem with their internet? Since yes, I'm not getting to be online. I think something was wrong with your phone. My phone is with Digicel, and I'm getting on to that with the data. I presume you're talking with the data there. Yes, it is okay. I'm not sure. You need to check something with the settings on your phone, or call for technical assistance at Digicel there. Good afternoon, sir. I'd like to get a Minister of Public Works phone number. Thank you very much. Public Works, 226 1875, 226 1875. Call that number there, and they could be able to guide you, whoever it is. This is a minister. I think one of the ministers would have his office right nearby, and they could guide you and tell you how you could probably get onto the minister or whatever help that you would require there. So 226 1875. Thank you very much for that query. Let me go back and just read a couple messages quickly, and then back to our lines here. I think we don't have any more messages right now. Please, yes. Good afternoon, caller. You on the air. Go right ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Gildarie.
Yes, it is. You are on the air. Go right ahead.
Can I talk to Mr. Gildarie?
Yes, you are on air, but could you lower your radio right away? Switch off your radio so you could be able to talk to me.
Oh, I have on the cell phone.
Thank you.
I have to load the cell phone.
I'm not sure where you have it. Just take off the radio on it.
Okay, I took it off.
Yes, go right ahead.
Yeah. What I call you for from Region 3, right?
Region 3, yes.
Yeah. There was a school of Region 3, Harmonstein. I don't know if you ever hear about a place, Harmonstein.
Harmonstein?
Harmonstein.
Yeah, not really, but go right ahead. Where is it located?
Opposite Bounty Farm at Timiri.
Okay, Bounty Farm and Timiri. I know where Bounty Farm is.
You gotta go across the Demerara River.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, there's that village called Harmonstein.
Yes.
My mother is having a big land over there. We plant we just plant, we just mine chicken and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And we don't have any water to use here. We have to come across the river.
How many persons live there? Is it a lot of families and so on?
Yes, people living there, at least around, at this present moment, we may have like about 10 families living in their own houses at Hormenstein. It's not a very big village.
It's not a very big place.
No. You know where the Kamuni Creek is?
I know the area. I know the area generally.
Yeah, from the Kamuni Creek, go back to the Forest Island.
Mm-hmm.
You call it the Forest Island, right?
Uh-huh. Must call through the switchboard 2258-491.
Hold on, let me get up there.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Call through the switchboard 2258-491. Ask them to give you my 8491.
8491.
Yeah, you can ask them to give you my number, and I'm gonna take your information and send it to the ministry. Those are to the ministers and so on, because they're on a countrywide outreach right now. Maybe somebody would make arrangements to come across to your area. I don't see a big well being put down there, but maybe there's some wells
there
that
was
work.
A school, right?
Uh-huh.
And the school break down many years, about 20 years now.
Yes.
But we are farming. We are farmers there.
Uh-huh.
And we are doing like mining chicken, and I have all my children.
No.
We have no water.
Well, I think it might be very easy, because if you're away from the Demerara River, I think there could be some solar power driven wells that they would have, or pumps or so, that could be able to do something. So they could be a variety of how you say it. There could be a variety of solutions that could be put to that community there. But let's see. So afterwards, you call me, and I'm going to send it to the ministers or whoever is in there, and let them start acting, and maybe we could take it from there.
Thank you very much. I was looking forward to this many years.
Thank you very much, ma'am. We'll see how it goes from there. I would love to see that you have a positive resolution to this entire situation.
I always watch your program. I like your program.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're doing something very well.
Thank you, ma'am. And say hello. What's the name of the village?
Hormenstein. Hormenstein.
Okay. Yes. That's like the hormones thing last year. Yes.
All my mother's children born there, 15 children.
Wow. Is there a lot of history there?
Yes. And we having the land. She died, and she leave the land for us.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my sisters, we planted.
Mm-hmm.
And we mine chicken, we mine, livestock, but we have no water since they break the well down on the school.
Mm-hmm.
We suffer. We come across the river for water.
Yeah.
But we have to pay the people who have their meter
Uh-huh.
so that we could get a couple of buckets of water just to cook and to drink.
No. There could be some other situation
very
there.
hard. And if the children, one of my daughters is living up East Coast.
Uh-huh.
So right now, if you check out my number, I'm calling from East Coast.
All right, ma'am.
You, because I'm very, very much glad for this water, because sometimes my children have to come all the way up the East Coast to look after them at some times,
Mm-hmm.
And we very, very need water there, because we don't use the river water is so nasty. People throw all sort of thing in the water.
Thank you very much.
No water there.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Do that, and I'm going to see whatever I could do for you here.
Oh,
all right?
Thank you very much.
God bless you. So thank you very much, dear. So this is somebody has echoing what that caller says. I 100% agree with that person that does call. Did an amazing job. But like I said before, this is your radio program here. I'm just a facilitator of that, and I kind of like hanging out with you guys for that 2 hours every day, and of course with our people here. Let's just do what we have to do. Good afternoon, Leonard. I'm living in St. Martin. I applied for an ID card in August 2019. Can I send an authorization for someone to uplift it for me? I'm listening to your program every day, and it's very informative. Continue to do the good job. That's a good question. I'm not sure if you could be able to do that, because an ID card is a very important document. What you could do, I could probably, let me just put it down here. I'm going to ask GCOM if there could be something. I think you would need an authorization, GCOM, for authorization. And I'm going to inform the people next week on this program here how that could be done or could not be done. Okay, thank you for doing such a good job that we people need a job. Not only do we have our voices heard, but we also learn a lot from the show. Wake Up Guyana has become a household name. Much thanks to you and Kaieteur Radio for bringing it to Guyana. Thank you very much, folks. There, I have a question. Never had an ID card. Is it possible to get one whenever I visit? I think you could be able to yes, but there is some if you have a overseas ID. I think you always remain a Guyanese person, and you could probably apply to GCOM. That's another question for them as to whether you live in overseas. Do you happen to have a passport? We need to know a little about those details because I want to ask them these specific questions so they could be able to answer them. And so, in the meantime, let's go very quickly. I think we are almost out of time. One call very quickly. Yes, good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon. Very quickly. You're the last caller. Go right ahead. Hello.
Good afternoon, Mister.
Yes, very quickly, sir. Yes, very quickly because we run out of time.
Should DPP drop low field charge?
I'm not aware of that. Where you saw that?
We hear it in the minibuses, but I mean, we shoot.
No, I'm not aware of that. I've not seen any breaking news. I've not seen anything in the media. I've not seen anything here. Let me see. I think the police are investigating that.
Okay, so I had a person where you say we'll give the number to call you back, but little by pull away the phone today and try to say, I get the number to call you concerning the interior.
Okay, must call to the tourist switchboard. They give you my number and then we take it from there. 225-8491. 225-8491.
Okay. When to call?
You call them and ask them for my number. You call me after the show.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Yes.
Thank you very much. So it is at the end of the day. I'm really, really sorry that we run out of time, but it is what it is. The Wake Up Guyana show here. I'm your host, Leonard Gildarie, and I could tell you it's been a pleasure as always being with you folks, wherever you join us from. Lots of overseas listeners, viewers. We also have all our people right in Guyana, wherever you are. All the teachers, all the drivers, all the excavators, all the housewives, all the men that are out there. Thank you very much for making this show what it is. It is your show. It is your voice. So we are going to be back on Monday. I'm going to be back on work on Monday. So we are going to try to increase the number of guests that we have so we can continue the education process, make you much more aware of some of your rights and what are some of the things that you should know, because it's the Wake Up Guyana show. You could also relook at this program on Kaieteur Radio on Facebook or Kaieteur Radio live stream on YouTube. So in the meantime, have a pleasant rest of the day. We are going to be back with you on Monday, same place, same time, right on Kaieteur Radio here, 99.1, 99.5. Enjoy your weekend.
COVID-19 tips sponsored by Dex Soap. 1. Practice social distancing. 2. Wear your mask when leaving the house. 3. Wash your hands regularly for 20 seconds using our Dex Soap. 4. Cover your nose and mouth with a disposable tissue or flex elbow when you cough or sneeze. Choose Dex Soap for that extra cleanliness. Dex Soap is affordable and available nationwide.
The government of Guyana has begun the rollout of the COVID-19 $25,000 household cash grant. Citizens are being advised that there is no pre-registration requirement. Clearly identified distribution clerks under the supervision of the Ministry of Finance will visit the respective households to verify credentials. Following this exercise, distribution will be done on a house-to-house basis. In cases where there are multiple households in one home, only the principal householder will receive the cash grant in the first instance. However, the other householders will be required to provide their information on a pink form, and following verification, they will receive the cash grant. The $25,000 household cash grant is in keeping with the government's promise to provide economic relief during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Kaieteur Radio.